Well, Brendon, you feel you guys are as well prepared as you could be and ready to give this a really good shake tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. Look, we've obviously had a couple of days prep with the pink ball at Perth, and then training last night. We trained a little bit under lights as well, which was of benefit, and then obviously training today. So we head into this Test match with a sense of excitement, not just about obviously the pink ball and the occasion, but also the fact that we've got an opportunity to try and draw the series and protect what is a record we're pretty proud of over the last little while.
Can you give us an update on Trent Bolton? Have you narrowed down an 11 at this early stage?
No, we haven't yet. Well, Trent bowled yesterday in the net, so I thought he bowled with good pace as well. He's certainly seen a couple of bounces in there as well, just like all the other bowlers did last night. But I think if he's pulled up well today, then we'll obviously see how he goes tonight, and then we'll be able to name a team later on.
You're hoping to be unchanged if he's fit?
Yeah, look, we've got some considerations in terms of the wicket and just a couple of slightly different quirks with the game. Obviously being played a bit later, so I wouldn't think we would name an unchanged 11. I think there will probably be some changes. It's just a matter of trying to work out what the best balance is heading into this Test match.
You mentioned some quirks in the game. What about the tactics? How does it affect you as a captain as far as declarations go and the other sort of little nuances?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess no one knows at the moment, but I think that's going to be one of the things that comes out of this Test match or day-night Test cricket, is that there is going to be some different demands tactically on captains and how they try and exploit some of those opportunities. So you've got to earn the right for any sort of tactics to be able to be implemented, but that in a day-night Test match there may be an opportunity where you think that the conditions may be at their best for bowling at some stage, and it may be able to accelerate the Test match and put you in a stronger position if you're able to benefit from it. So that's something we've got to definitely look at. Over rates will be interesting as well, I think, heading into this Test match. Doesn't get dark till 8 o'clock here, so there's really only an hour, potentially an hour and a half of the ball under full floodlights as well. So again, there's a tactical element that needs to be included in that.
As a batsman, what's your biggest challenge that you found so far using the pink ball, both facing spinners and quick?
Yeah, look, I didn't think it differed too much, to be honest. I think it's still a matter of just making sure you get yourself underway, but that could just be playing Australia as well. I think wickets in Australia, if you can get underway, they're beautiful batting wickets, but they are quite challenging when you first come to the crease, and I think the pink ball probably just accentuates that a little bit. I haven't had a lot of work with the pink ball, to be honest, but I guess we'll find out over the next 5 days who's able to adapt quickest to it.
Brendon, you always do so well with the tosses, particularly of late. Almost saw your head go down at the whacker when you lost that one. But what about this one? I mean, is this one that you're going to think, it's a good one to lose? Or do you know, what have you thought when you've seen the wicket so far?
I actually saw an article today. My tossing record is not as bad as what everyone makes out of it, and especially my teammates. I do happen to remind them I've won a couple of tosses which we didn't play as well as what we should have, and they were important tosses. But this will be an interesting one. Yeah, don't know, to be honest. Again, it'll depend on the balance of our side. If we go for an extra spinner, then obviously we're going to want to try and bat first. If we go for the extra seamer, then there's a potential that if it is a bit of cloud cover as well, then bowling first may be the option. But look, the beauty with our squad is that we have lots of options within it as well. And whatever we decide on, pretty confident that whether we win or lose the toss, we'll put in a much better performance again.
Just as well, just a couple of your batsmen who seem to have, with obviously Ross and how he did last week, and Martin Guptill in that warm-up match. Do you think there's sort of maybe a bit of some cobwebs blown out, or maybe a bit of mental readjustment for a couple of your batsmen?
Yeah, maybe. Obviously, the way Ross and Kane played in that last Test match was outstanding. Martin Guptill, he batted beautifully in that warm-up game, and he played with a slightly more aggressive tempo, a tempo which is probably more kind to his one-day game. But so I think he looks freer at the wicket at the crease as well, and I think Tom Latham has impressed everyone with his poise and his composure and his technique. So he feels like he's not far away from a big score as well. So I think overall the batters, we tend to get better as we get deeper into a season as well, which is kind of scary for guys like Kane and Ross. But Yeah, I think overall our guys go in with probably a little bit more confidence than when we first started the tour.
Brendon, I guess on a slightly different tack, there's some discussion around at the moment on the issue of player safety, what with the timing of this and the incident with the net bowler in Australia's session last night and visibility issues with the pink ball. Do you think enough has been done to ensure player safety for this test?
Yeah, look, you can't safeguard against everything, I guess. I only heard about last night's training session just before, actually, so that's hopefully he's okay. I guess they happen whether the ball's red, white or pink. Training sessions can be pretty dangerous place at times. So, yeah, hopefully he's okay. But in terms of safeguarding, you can't be 100% sure. But I guess we head in, not worrying so much about that, but just trying to focus on playing the best we possibly can, adjusting as quick as we can to the different ball and also obviously the conditions we're confronted with.
Some discussion as well around these compulsory helmets and potentially making net guards mandatory. Where do you stand on that?
Oh, yeah, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I don't tend to like using those sorts of things, but it's whatever. I think it's up to the guys who want. They use what they want. Some guys bat without a helmet at times as well. So I think it's pretty tough to try and blanket rule that across everyone, across the whole game. So yeah, it's up to the individual, I think.
There's been a lot of talk about how hard it's expected to be to bat under lights, particularly with the new ball. Is there a fine line between sort of taking notice of that and batting to the conditions compared to, I guess, talking yourself into saying this is going to be too hard at night and getting yourself into a hole?
Yeah, I think so. I guess there's a few unknowns, but the guys who batted against the new ball the other night in the final hour of the session, they said it was challenging, but it wasn't unplayable. And I think there's a lot being made that it's almost unplayable during those times. But I think it's just a little bit more challenging during that stage. It doesn't mean you can't get runs, doesn't mean you can't survive and ensure that you're there to bat the next day when the conditions will be easier as well. So again, it is a quirk of this test match and of the game, but there's some good players on show as well, and I'm sure they'll be able to negotiate those sorts of challenges.
Sort of a double whammy. Do you think since day 2 of Perth, moving forward, that you've kind of got over a bit of a hump, that the series began poorly for you, that you feel as though you are now right in business, you've got over that hurdle? And secondly, would you accept that for all the fact that you had Hamilton, you had Perth, the Aussies, with the amount of pink ball they've played in the Sheffield Shield, will start with a distinct advantage purely in terms of the pink ball experience?
I'm trying to remember both those as I answer that question. What was the first one again? Yeah, I think the way we started this test series, we were just a bit nervous, to be honest, and that can come for a number of reasons, and it can be excitement a lot of the time. We don't often get the opportunity to play such big series and test ourselves against the best in a long period of time. So I think we walked into this test series as well prepared as we thought we could be, but just almost a little bit nervous, and I think that affected the way we were able to execute our skills. And credit to Australia, they put us under a lot of pressure early doors as well, and kind of knocked us off our lengths and probably dented the confidence of the bowlers who like to be able to settle in on certain lengths and to certain plans. So I guess it's a combination of us not being quite at our best and Australia playing really well. Since day 2 at Perth, I think we've seen a team which is operating a little closer to where we expect ourselves to operate on a daily basis. So, there's certainly some signs there. There's some encouraging signs. We've got to get better in this test match as well, because Australia will ask some different challenges of us again. So, yeah, I'm confident that we will put in an even better performance than what we've displayed in the last 2 test matches, but you're never quite sure. And the second question, Lego, they've obviously, Australia have had more pink ball work than what we have, but geez, does it really matter once you get underway? I think once you're underway, the advantages or disadvantages of that are kind of irrelevant, and we'll just try and play the game similar to how we play other games, and that's as a batter watch the ball and try and score runs, and as a bowler try and get wickets.
so we don't get confused. But the first one, if everything goes well with the pink ball and there's no dramas that we are all perhaps suspecting there may be, given the first few days here as a sellout, do you think that this could be the future of Test cricket, the injection it needs to breathe life into the format?
Yeah, look, I think that's a really good question because I think people are voting with their feet, that they're encouraged by what the pink ball Test match has to offer, and for us to play in front of 40-odd thousand people in a Test match is pretty amazing. So we're really excited about it. Hopefully it goes off brilliantly. There's no challenges, no problems. We have, I think I said after the last Test match, if we have the final session on that 5th day under lights and the Test match result is in the balance, then I think that it could be anything for Test cricket. This could be something that is outstanding for the game moving forward. We'll find out once the game's over, I guess. But at least we've got the opportunity to test it out, and we're relishing that opportunity.
I see with interest that you name your bats after great racehorses, and Black Caviar was broken in the last Test match, which obviously didn't happen. How's Frankel heading in his track work going into this one?
We should do these questions more often. Frankel's having to spell this game as well. So I'm going with Sacred Falls in this game. So he's going okay. He needs a little bit more work. He's got to fly the gates a little bit quicker than what Black Caviar was able to last start. Sacred Falls? You're joking me. He's won on all tracks. He's won on different distances, all tracks. Jeez, wet track. That's an Australian comment. Huh? Oh yeah, he hasn't won under lights actually. So.
Sorry to get all boring on it, Brendon, but just given us the 3rd test of a series in pink ball and your experience, and you've been renowned for your innovative captaincy, how much onus are you taking on leading the team in terms of your captaincy and your batting in this series?
Yeah, look, I'm excited by the challenge of the pink ball test, to be honest, and the different tactics which we sort of alluded to before. I think it's going to ask some different challenges of both Smitty and myself and our cricketing, I guess, now. So that's pretty exciting. Batting-wise, I probably haven't been at my best this series, but sort of feel as if I can get past those sort of first 20 balls or whatever, then you can make an impact. And what a game to do it in, I guess, in the 3rd match of a series against a very good Australian team in their own conditions, and the first ever day-night Test match. So that's what whets the appetite, and now it's a matter of going out there and trying to just execute those sorts of ambitions, I guess.
Brendon, are you viewing this as your last Test match in Australia, and if so, what would it mean to go out on a winning note, and for both you and, I guess, the legacy of this BLACKCAPS generation?
When's the next tour to Australia? You guys don't like playing us that often, so it's probably fair to assume that it would be my last Test match in Australia. Look, that's not one of my motivating factors. For me, it's playing with a group of guys who are trying to achieve special things during the time that we've got, and if we could pull off a Test win here, which is certainly firmly in our minds, we'd leave Australia reasonably content with our work. We came over here to win the series. It's now off the table, but we can certainly leave with a lot of respect and a drawn series, which would be a very, very good achievement, I think, against a new and an emerging Australian side.
Just with the anniversary tomorrow, just wondering if you guys will be wearing black armbands as well, and just what you think of the tea break tribute that's planned to go ahead.
Yeah, we are wearing black armbands. Yeah, look, it's obviously, it's not going to be an easy time for anyone involved, but we'll sort of take the lead from the Aussie guys on it, and certainly be as respectful as what we possibly can be. And I'm sure, I'm sure that it will be a nice tribute, and everyone will be pretty comfortable with it.